You think we're not essential people.
Wilson Brooks is a true Bay Area native and a true showman.
But I want you to know, you gotta roll.
Growing up in the Young Musicians program at UC Berkeley, as well as playing in bands since he was a child, Wilson has had both a formal and an informal education in music. As a young man, Wilson was with William Bell, also known as the Jazz Professor, from 1984 to 1989, got to perform for the likes of Lady Bianca, Jimmy Weatherspoon, and Kenny Burrell. For most of the 1990s, Wilson took time away from the gigging life, and when he emerged again, he recorded and toured with the Gospel Hummingbirds in a run that lasted 13 years. In 2003, he produced Skillful Praise Volume 1, an instructional CD that teaches drumming. Wilson has spent the pandemic creatively and has just released a single that's just right for the times called Essential People, which he wrote and produced. You can stream it on all the major streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music. Wilson's a member of the good time funk band BeaufunK, and he is a member of Groove Masters and the leader of JazSnergy, performing live around the Bay Area. It was a kick to sit down with Wilson in March of 2021, hear some hilarious stories, learn about his grandma the Riveter and time he played for George Clinton, and we even get some demonstrations on the drum kit. I'd like to thank Timm Walker for his excellent engineering help on the show. He is why Wilson's drums sound so sweet. You can hear me and Tim's conversation together on episode 2.
After everything that we've been through, and all of the
Wilson Brooks. So good to have you with us.
Hello, Leslie.
Wilson, you're a Bay Area native. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, so let's not age ourselves. We won't date ourselves, but
Okay. No, we won't do that.
Radio stations, KRE, KDIA, KSAN. What were your favorites?
KDIA, Lucky 13.
AM. KDIA. AM.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hard. Yeah, I think at one point you had Hard Punching Henry on there, who I had an opportunity to meet and know. Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Neat.
I mean, KDIA almost got me out of some trouble. You know, I needed some money one time because I was, oh man, it's a bad story. But anyway, since I brought it up, I was a kid, so I had a band, and I told the keyboard player, hey man, you're fired. You know, you got to leave. Get your stuff. And he held off, and he waited too long, so I got his keyboards, and I played like an E flat of a sus chord with crescent wrenches and tore up all the keys. And so to try to redeem myself and not tell my mom, my brother and I, we stayed up on dialing in on KDIA trying to win $500 to pay for that keyboard.
Pay for that keyboard. Beautiful.
True story.
I take it you had a good night of music, but you maybe didn't get $500.
I stayed up all night long, didn't win nothing.
Tell us a little bit about your grandma, the Riveter.
My grandmother, Ernestine Shepherd, you know, they used to have these programs in Richmond, and I know as a child I used to see these little strong women with nice biceps like mine. I mean, mine was bigger, but and they had like this little funny scarf on, red scarf, and I used to always, what is that? And then they started having these programs in Richmond, you know, and my grandmother said, I was a riveter. I said, what do you mean? What do you mean? You know, I heard the word riveter and then became, you know, more acquainted with what that was all about. She was like, long time ago, she worked as a certified welder. And so she was helping, you know, she helped win the war, you know. She kept everything going in that sense because they had sent all the men out to war, and then they had to get women to do jobs for men. And so she went, joined the union and all that stuff. I'm telling the fast end of it because there was a lot of rejection. It was like, first of all, you got to join the union. And then secondly,
There's your hurdle. There's a hurdle.
You're right. Join the union. But then it's like, no, but you're a woman. It's like, yeah, well, I was a woman when I decided to join the union. But then it's like, well, no, then you're black. It's like, yeah. So anyways,
Got a problem
she
with that?
finally had a problem with that. They had it, and it took a while, but she became a certified welder, and she was working on the ships. How about that?
This isn't remote. This is right here. This is right here
Right,
history.
exactly.
You consider yourself a drummer first?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I would consider myself a drummer first.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do like to sing, and I actually have a lot of experience, working with choirs and choirs. I graduated from the Young Musician program, and they taught us how to sing in Latin and all types of stuff like that. It was a program that I spent about 6 years at over at UC Berkeley. And
Now, was the Young Music program part of, you just did that parallel to your schooling?
What it was, my music teacher had. I did it parallel to my schooling, right? Chuck Lord from my junior high school teacher had recommended that I join the program. It's a program that's set up for people who can't afford, musical lessons. And so we had to audition and whatever and prepare, cross our fingers and go through all that. And we got accepted, and oh boy, it was on. It was on. What a big eye. It was a life changer for me, in terms of playing and learning so much. It's like I learned what I didn't want to learn. I was forced to learn because, hey, you got to produce, or you get kicked out.
Yeah. Now, when you're a kid,
They didn't play.
When you're a kid and you've already got bands and you're running bands, you aren't necessarily doing your paradiddles and your mama daddies. But when you went to school, did you have to start doing rudiments and using a metronome and all that business? And you have all this innate talent. And did it feel like you were kind of backing up, or did it feel like, oh, give me these exercises?
No, it felt like I was backing up and starting all over again.
Yeah.
The reason being is because I was a self-taught drummer, and so I was playing match grip, and so I was taught traditional grip, and they get rid of the match grip, and learning traditional grip was it was very difficult.
It's not what the hand wants to do.
Exactly.
It's your left hand as well, which is awkward in the first place.
Yes. Yeah.
But now do you play match or you play traditional?
Oh, I play traditional. And match grip, I only play match grip when I'm playing timbales, or the other disclaimer is if I get extremely tired. I mean, I'm wore out. And most of the time that happens when we playing that shout music in the church house, and the Holy Ghost is gone and the people just two-stepping for Jesus,
I'm really curious if you have a way to explain the swing of something.
Well, in the great words of Duke Ellington, if it ain't got no swing, then it don't mean a thing. So what happens in terms of defining swing, especially with drummers, you have to, the late Bill Bell, Professor Bill Bell, I can remember the concept. He played piano. I had to respect his drumming because he taught the percussion classes and so forth. Sometimes as musicians, we think that, oh, you play this, so you can't teach this or you can't teach that.
Yeah.
But it's like, as a young lad, I had to shut up and learn. He taught me to pull that stick back, ting, 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 ting. So it's a dance. Then the important part of it also is to crunch that hi-hat. So it's 4/4 timing on 2 and 4. You just don't close it. It's got to crunch. It's got to just really, and it's a right and wrong way. Because if you don't execute the proper technique, it just won't sound right. It won't feel right. It won't make you dance right. It's almost like a jump of the gun. 1, 2. It's this real sharp 2. It's like, well, if you're dancing, I mean, that's why swinging is just like 1, 2, that hi-hat 4. And so everybody gets the metronome off of the 2 and 4 and know what to do. They know what to do, In fact, dancers in swing music, dancers and the drummers, they talk and correlate a lot. Now, here's something that's really important. I found this out. I was playing a slow swing one time, and it was so slow, but they had some dancers, and I watched the dancers, and they made me execute my part correctly, even more proficiently, because they were so synced in their dance, so I couldn't go wrong.
Yeah,
but
just
at
watch.
the same token, you watch the wrong person, they'll lead you wrong too. I'm just saying, I had that happen too.
That's not your fault.
So be careful. And what I was teaching and what I learned over the years is that there's a true drummer's talk. I mean, because it's the phrases, if you can sing it, you can, that's what I coined. If you can sing it, you can bring it. If you sing it correctly, you can play it correctly. Music is, I mean, the written music is nothing more than a reference point. And so I'll take feel, like many other people will take feel over the technical aspects than anything, because you want to make a connection.
Yeah.
So with the swing thing, Mr. Bell used to tell us, ting, ting, ti-ding, ting, ti-ding. You know, and he have us singing, because sometimes we couldn't play it right because we couldn't sing it right. Say, sing it. Some people go, ting, 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 ti-ding, ting. Ta-ding, or ting, ting, ka-ding, ting, ka-ting, ting. And then see, you sound like you're stuttering and stuff. That's what you're playing will be mumble jumble. But if you can ting, ting, ta-ding, ting, ta-ding. So it's like ping, 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 ping. Feel that pulsation. Take it slow, get it right. Because speed kills. We want accuracy. We want feel.
Kills.
Yeah, it kills. You don't get it right just because you go bing, 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 bing. No, not necessarily correct. So take your time and do it right. If you could swing it slow, and if you can swing in all speeds, you got it correctly. When I teach my students, I say you should be able to play it slow, fast, and everything in between. And if you can only play it at one tempo, you're wrong. You got to break it down.
That's right.
Swing. Bring that hi-hat. Let's pick it up. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Slow it down. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick it up. Did a little improvisation too.
So the Till 2 Lounge, Gentlemen's Quarters, Your Place 2, Ruthie's. Were you playing those places in the 80s?
I would say no. I may have hit some places, but not as many.
Yeah.
In the latter part of the 80s and stuff, I worked with Mr. Bell all the way from about 1984 to about 89. I worked with Mr. Bell in the various places, private events and some clubs and stuff like that too. And that was awesome. Mr. Bell, Professor William Bell, who had the opportunity to teach many years over at
UC?
Over at Alameda.
Oh, okay.
He taught at Stanford University. He taught at Alameda College, and he taught many years over at the YMP program that was held at UC Berkeley.
Okay.
And he has material out his own self, you know. And he passed away probably about 2-3 years ago.
Oh, sorry.
But incredible player in person, you know. It's somebody that he's always telling me, he said, Wilson, what you have is special. He talked to me, you know, and I said, thank you, Mr. Bell. He said, you listen to me, you hear what I'm saying. We had an opportunity once to play at the Dunsmuir Mansion back in 1989. And I played for Lady BeaufunK, Kenny Burrell, the late Jimmy Weatherspoon, and a whole host of other artists. But here's the take on that. That was like my last concert back in '89. What I meant in terms of doing blues and other things, I let somebody, as I call it, get up in my ear and try to tell me, hey, Wilson, you know, you love the Lord and you save and you out here playing this whirling music and this and that. And they rained on my parade. And for like 10 years straight, I didn't play nothing but gospel music, and my phone wasn't even ringing that much. And I turned down multiple gigs and opportunities to play with many people
Okay.
that I had met over the years. But back in 2000, I came back on the scene. My brother sort of pulled me out of retirement. And we started playing and got a tour with the Gospel Hummingbirds. I was with them for 13 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and I toured with them. Oh, what an awesome opportunity.
Wow. Well, maybe those 10 years were you were woodshedding.
Right. Well, I don't know. Actually, to be honest about it, I was pretty in the dumps about it. I had a whole bunch of questions, and those questions were, well, why did God give me this talent? And we read the scripture that you're not supposed to hide your talents. And
you are the light of the world.
That's right. And it's like, well, see, more importantly than the music you play is the life you live. So what happens, you can play whatever music you live. There is a life that you gotta live, not the music you play. The music don't make you per se. It's just like the clothes don't make the person.
Yeah.
A lot of time people make the mistake of looking on the outer. God looks at the heart. So it's like I had to come to the grips and be separated from people. After 10 years, it took me 10 years to get myself together to realize that, hey, I don't care what you say about me. It doesn't matter, because I only have one life to live, and I'm going to live my life in peace, and I'm going to be good to everybody, and I'm going to use the talent and go to the nightclubs, wherever my music should happen to take me. How about that?
Beautiful.
And then when I was with the Gospel Hummingbirds, we were playing the nightclubs. Yeah. They hired us. We go to the big blues festival, but we singing for the Lord. But everybody think, I'll tell you something funny. So people used to get that little thing going on like that, right? And then it's like, they know I have a group. But Wilson, sure would like to have you play for my wedding. And I'll be thinking, well, what do you want us to play? Jesus on the Main Line? Or do you want us to break out with some Luther Vandross? You want some woo. And so you think this music is bad. Everything has a place. God is the creator and maker of all things. And God is a God of creativity and color and multiplication. And so he gave me this gift, and I spent all this time learning classical, Latin, jazz, played a little piano in there, had a scholarship, played timpanis and xylophones, singing in Latin and other languages I didn't know of. And just to sit down and do nothing? No way.
No. Yeah.
So.
Good news.
Yeah.
So that the first time I saw you live was with BeaufunK.
Yeah.
Is there a swing in funk? What is the magic that puts the in funk?
What brings that is it's this connection, the inner part, first off, and it's the way that everything, because it got like, some people call it sandbagging. So it's like you get that, like, I've been working on the railroad all the day, long day. Now funk it up. Been working on the railroad. You still got that It's still singing, but it's they make you wanna if you can't dance, you ain't gotta know how. Just Pee Wee the Hermit.
Whatever.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Yeah. Back in the 60s, 70s, you didn't have to know how to dance. Just throw up one hand, just hey. I still do it because I don't know how to dance. I got two left feet. But it's just a feeling of connection. It's the way the beat goes, certain beats, like James Brown say, can I get up and do my thing? So get up, boom, 3, 4, 1, 2. James made the one funky, like boom, boom. So you get this pulsation and this rhythm that's going, and it's not deviating too much. And so the deviation would create a hypnosis-like type of thing. They get you in a trance.
Yeah, trance.
And so that's why when they say drummers be locking, it's like ding and all over, like shaka. No, they got you like boom, ta. And you can feel that bass. That bass player and the drummer, they working hand in hand for a cooperative goal of bringing you the funk. You know where it's going to be at next.
talk about your hit single.
Well, the hit single, I'm really happy, excited about it. You might see me on Facebook every day making some kind of noise or taking a picture of somebody. Essential people. But yeah, the new single is out, and wow, I can't really say enough about it. It's like, you know, a big dream. It's always been a thing. Well, I want to release. I'm gonna do something one day, and whatever I want to do something, I want it out, and we got it out. I'm happy with it. We took our time with it. Tim did all the engineering and listening to me, try to correct, add, and direct. I produced it. I talked to all the musicians. They were all under my tutelage. It's a great team of musicians, from Timm Walker to Richard
Benitez,
Miriah, my brother Rick, Alexander, and Rance Vaughn. And wow, that was fun. That was fun.
That's so cool.
It was
That's
awesome.
so cool.
So
now,
awesome.
did you compose it on the piano, or did you compose it vocally?
Good question. I would say it started off with me singing.
Yeah.
I started off singing, right? And then I was playing with my iPad and got in the iPad and hooked up the GarageBand and started working it out on their little keyboard and so forth.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know.
And so we have our own Timm Walker.
Without his help, it wouldn't be what it is, you know. And my daughter's help. She came up with the words. And then she also came up with the backgrounds. And you know, she's fast. I sort of get a little jealous. You know, we go in the studio and she just, it's not that we're competing, but she always seems to show me up. I mean, she gets to singing, and she just does her part quicker. I need a little bit more time.
That father-daughter rivalry.
Yes, exactly. It's such a blast.
You
it's
taught
such
her
an
too
awesome.
well.
Right, right.
You've got your brother
Yes.
on sax.
Right. Yes, he's on sax. He's playing tenor sax on that and alto. Yes, he is.
Gorgeous. The horns on that
Yeah.
really make it so hard and tight.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
Well, I was even trying to say, come on, Tim, do this. And he's like, Wilson, this is your project. I want you to do it. And you know what he did to me? The same thing he doing now. When I sung, you know, I got 3 songs on the BeaufunK's latest CD.
Yes.
And he allowed me to sing all that stuff, too. Me and Miriah did that. Resuscitation of Funk.
The second of the BeaufunK records. If you don't have it, stop not having it, because it's awesome.
That's right. It's funky. A lot of fun, you know. A lot of fun. Great memories in the studio. I wish we'd have had some recordings of that, about how much fun we had in the studio.
Can you imagine you guys in the studio?
Oh, gosh. Oh, it was wild. Such a beautiful, you know, if you don't have the CD, you can pick it up on cdbaby.com. It's still available while supplies last. You know, it's a little bit left out there still.
Now,
Right.
I have a third way
Play.
to acquire the CD, Wilson.
Yes.
Live shows.
All right.
Live shows.
Exactly.
And even better than that, if you do
Right.
it, there is a certain competition that one can participate in at a BeaufunK live show, in which the prize
Yes.
is a copy of the CD, and if you're lucky, a T-shirt. Okay?
Right. Exactly.
Got to come to a show, and you'll find out what that competition entails.
Exactly. We're still doing it. I've been accused of being like a Clinton man, and I had an opportunity. It's funny. My daughter, I almost got in trouble. I'll tell you a funny story. This really happened, right? So I went to the NAMM show the first time. It was probably about 2017, right? 2017, and here it is. I acted a plumb fool. I saw Uncle George Clinton, so I was like, "Hey, Uncle George!" You know, the star power. I just it just threw me off. I said, "Hey, George!" He said, "Shh, don't do that." So I said, "Okay." And his bodyguard was in back of him, on the side of him, and I said, "Okay, straighten up and fly right, Wilson." So what happens the next day? They had the biggest, the largest drum circle I ever participated in. No joke. Just walk up and grab a drum.
At NAMM?
At NAMM.
That's
at NAMM.
cool. Isn't that cool?
It was incredible.
What a great idea.
Listen to this.
That is cool.
It had to be at least 500 drummers playing at one time, right?
Oh my goodness. And
So
they
what
could play.
happens? They could play. But guess what? I was in there playing with him, cutting up and everything.
Yeah.
The man that was holding the drum sax, I kid you not, he was conducting the drum circle. He came over with his microphone and put his mic on my drum.
Of course he did.
So I really tuned up, and I'm tired, I'm sweating, and I'm throwing everything I got, right? But then what happens next is worse. Here come Uncle George. I turned around and I saw Uncle George. I said, Uncle George, this is for you. I turned around and I started playing the Congos again. You know, I'm tearing it up, going crazy.
Fun. What a memorable star.
So I can say I played for George Clinton.
He had a front row seat. The word just came down from headquarters that BeaufunK is playing the Louisiana Crawfish and Seafood Festival in Sacramento on September 18th and 19th in Southside Park. I want to end with one final question for you, Wilson, if you would. What kind of advice do you have for young people coming up in music now?
Yeah, I have a lot of advice on that. And I say, do what you love, and when you do what you love, the money will come to you. But in the same token, prepare yourself. I'm not saying have a A, B, C, or D plan, but have a plan that's real, because we need to stop GoFundMe's. Okay? You need to sort of like equip yourself, have some way to whereas one day you're young, but you're going to get older. So you're going to be looking for a pension. And I'm not to say that you can't do music, because this is what I was taught. I didn't like it at first. It really shook me up. And it's like, it's never to say that I wasn't good enough to go pro, but you got to understand that timing is everything, and timing plays a great part to your success. But in the in-between time, until you get where you're trying to go, learn how to be patient and kind with yourself. Young people need to learn this. Don't compare yourself to others or the success of others. Pat yourself on the back. Be kind to yourself. Tell yourself you can do it. Believe in yourself. And understand that in God's own time, you will get to your destiny.
Wilson Brooks, thanks so much for joining me on the show, man. Great to be with you.
Thanks for having us.
What a treat.
Thank you. After everything that we've been through and all of the troubles that we see, you think we're not essential people. The Lord knows, you got it wrong. You got it all mixed up. Criticize for being strong. We'll love on you even though you've done us wrong. But there's something that I want you to know. We got some crazy glue, and we took the tongue of our skates and laid it down, and we got some scissors and cut that mink up and found something to do with the mink. We glued it to the, and then we was up there, rock, skate, roll. And my mama went one day and she was getting ready to go to church.
No,
and she
where's
said,
my mink?
where my fur